Hello, good morning. It's Grumpy Brit back on deck. Well, following a sort of a theme of the other channel, but not quite the same. And that is, you hear me and others talking about their Filipina, talking about what you should be looking for. And in that, of course, it's great to always ask questions. It's also great to be inquisitive in a roundabout way to extract information from those that maybe aren't quite so forthcoming. I'm talking about your future wife. Now, there's a certain amount of information they're happy to exploit to you or explain to you their version. And of course, that's wonderful. But like everything, do we spend our life believing everything we see or hear? I don't think we do. I think we tend to believe what we want to believe, and the rest sort of is there for the excitement of discovery later on. And this is what I cannot understand when somebody is coming to the Philippines. Sure, it's a last-ditch effort to come here, I think. I think a lot of people who come here, dare I say it, in the end will be called losers. And I say losers in the sense that they miss out on what their dream was going to be, simply because they come with an unexpected illusion of what reality is. They come here believing that they're going to find the perfect woman. She's going to just appear magically. She's going to fall at your lap. She's going to be 18 to 25, no children, and she's going to be madly in love with you. Sure. How much did you say you had in your wallet this morning? Because I think you'll find that that's the thing she's most interested in. Sure, she's attracted to you, but like a dog to a smelly bone. They will snip you out regardless. They will find you and they will devour you along with your money. It's just, what do you really honestly expect? You come to a country where the average income per day for the majority of people is $5 American a day, if they're lucky. Now, of course, there's wealthy Filipinos and there's wealthy families too. There are ones that are wealthy in terms of they have lots of property, have a lot of land, but they don't have anything in the bank, and they live a fairly basic lifestyle. Who are we to complain? They've done well, somebody's done well in the past for them to hold on to the land and maybe build a nice home from the efforts of maybe one of the children going overseas or relatives. But that's as far as it goes, guys. I met a lady who comes from a wealthy family. They have members of family working overseas, many of them. Do they send money? I don't know. I don't see it here. I see it being spent on their houses, but not on ours, and not on other members of the family's homes. That's not to say they should be either. Why should you go overseas and be expected to care for every brother, sister, uncle, aunt? It just doesn't happen like that. When they come home from holidays abroad or times away, sure, they bring magical gifts, lots of chocolate, iPhones that they no longer need, maybe 2 or 3 models away from the current one, gift to a niece or a nephew. Who's going to say no to that? That's just normal Filipino generosity. They also return for reunions, and it's like the prodigal son or daughter returns. Money, no problem, because why? They live in the West and they've allocated a certain amount of money they're prepared to donate to their friends and family. It's only normal, but generally speaking, most people survive here. They don't have a lot of money to live the high life. They might have the biggest house in the street, or they might have the largest block of land. But that's as far as it goes. It's Ilocano Filipino food. Lots of rice, meat, minimal, maybe canned, fish, locally grown vegetables. And that's what they live on. They're happy with that. That's what they've been brought up with. And that is the reality of life here in the Philippines. When we come along, we try and alter that. We try and live like we want. I mean, last night, I made myself, without the chicken livers because of my tummy upset over the last few days, I made myself mashed potatoes, gravy, and freshly cut onions on top. Yummy, yummy. Western food. I hoped to have the remains of the mashed potatoes with a couple of fried eggs on top this morning, but unfortunately, when I went to put it in the fridge last night, those little buggers, little black ants, come from nowhere, and I should have put it straight in the fridge after I served myself up. But, wasn't thinking. Yes, if you leave food out here, the ants will find it within minutes. But Western food is enjoyed by Filipino, the same as Filipino. They go to restaurants and pay big money for Western-style food. They also pay big money for fancily prepared Ilocano dishes too. So there is money. You only have to look at the kind of blogs like Tim Kay, struggling here in the Philippines on his pension, disability pension, wining and dining in the most luxurious places, staying in the best hotels. So they are there, and it is available for you or a Filipino. And if you go to most hotels, 90% of the clientele are Filipino, on holiday or from different regions. And that's the thing to remember. We are living, like I've said before, a parallel society. We live as expats. Some of you try and live like I do sometimes, most of the time, frugally, without wastage. It's no good to pour 5 containers of rice in your rice cooker and have to throw half of it away. But try and teach a Filipino the benefits of that, and they just don't get it. Yes, I'm sure they're pissed that they've had to throw out the rice, but before it usually goes out, it gets given to the dogs. But that's not the purpose. If we were going to just give to the dog, we would buy 38 peso a kilo instead of 60 for dog rice, which is nothing near the quality of yours and mine. So it's like when I peeled the potatoes last night. I put the peelings in a bowl of water, and cooked it up. When it was all cooked, I chopped it up into small pieces, mixed it in with the rice and the pedigree chum, and they loved it. The dogs loved it. Why throw it away? It's only going to attract flies, whereas it attracted their tongue, and it's now carefully inside their tummy. Yum, yum, they said to me, with their little tails wagging. So you really just have to, it's a total mindset when you come to the Philippines. There's nothing, I can't really give you a definitive way of understanding it. The only way you're going to understand it is to come here and live. After 6 months, I think you start to get a feel of the place. You've fallen in love with it. you probably more than likely fallen in love as you feel with your partner. So that's enough reason to want to come back and sort out your stuff overseas and come back here permanently. But just be cautious, be wary that not all is what it might seem. She might not have told you about a child that she had 5 or 10 years ago who's just going into college or high school, I should say. And maybe the grandparents know more. And with your little quiet conversations with them, you'll get those little snippets of information from them without them thinking that they're giving anything away. So do your due diligence, due diligence, and you still have a great time coming here to the Philippines, discovering the place, discovering the people, the ways of the people. Don't be disappointed when you come up against a brick wall, like neighbourhood disputes. After all, they have their way. We're not going to change things. We have a right to say our piece, but they won't really take it into account. So enjoy your stay, enjoy the islands, enjoy your lady, but most of all, do your careful questioning before you make that final choice. Bye now.